Hello, brothers and sisters. Mark Espinosa, president of Local 919, your president, proud to be so. Thank you for that honor. I just thought it was important to come to you and present an update relative to our Stop and Shop contract discussions. And I felt that it would be good for you to, hear what's happened so far. And all I can do as far as projecting ideas and thoughts for the future, it simply would be just my opinion. So I can't tell you guaranteed this is this and this is this. Obviously, the one thing I can say for sure is that none of us on either side really wants to repeat the little problem that we had with the company 3 years ago. I think it's a pretty good consensus that let's work to avoid that. Also, I want to say, first of all, too, thank you. Thank you all for the great job that you are doing in the service of our communities and the difficult pandemic-filled time that we live. You guys are amazing, and you guys are warriors and heroes. And even if certain government officials don't want to give you that classification, I do. So thank you again, and I hope for a joyous, peace-filled, and health-filled new coming year. We have met with your employer twice so far, which is really a great sign. We've had 2 meetings in December with them, up in Providence, where we usually are. Prior to December, I think I could let you know for sure that, a lot of discussion happened internally among the locals. Remember, there are 5 local unions in New England representing all of the Stop and Shop employees. And I made a suggestion to the group because I do, in addition to my duties here at the local, I serve as the New England Council president. And I had made a recommendation to the group and said, perhaps we can get the company, we can at least have a discussion with the company, initiated in October perhaps. So everyone agreed, and we presented it, and the company agreed that we met in November, and that kind of a meeting typically doesn't occur until the week that we're in now, typically. It's generally just a meet and greet and good news exchange, and kind of just see you next year normally. So we got that out of the way in November, but we also got dates scheduled, and lo and behold, December we ended up with 2 dates that we actually physically negotiated, and that was on December 7th and that was on December 20th. In addition to those dates, we also came out with dates that would be in January, and we have scheduled 4 dates to happen again in Providence. And we actually certified, I think, at least 2, if not 3 dates so far at the beginning of February. The company indicated to us their willingness and desire to, get this, not only get the contract, get it done, but let's try to get it done peacefully and on time. And they told us that, certainly the last 2 weeks of February, they would be open to any dates that we would require. So that's the good news. The fact that, we're hoping that, unlike this last bargaining session 3 years ago, we won't need 37 sessions. Maybe we can keep it under 20. So that's kind of my hope. But I think that the message to your employer from all locals, there's a strong emphasis on wages. And we hear you, and we know, and we understand the complications of not only, extra monies trying to be generated during these horrible pandemic-filled times, but just overall general wage increases and rates of pay, particularly up against the ever rising minimum wage, which we know, creates a heck of a problem in your stores, that people sometimes don't understand that, look, the employer is paying what they have to. And that new person coming in is probably catching up to someone who's been there 3, 4, 5 years, yes. But what the 3, 4, 5, 6 year person does also have to remember is that statistically, those new people coming in aren't lasting. That's a problem. They're not staying. The turnover rate is, we would say that perhaps 50% of people hired will not even last 6 months. But that being said, the benefit levels are not available yet to those new hires that you folks currently enjoy in the collective bargaining agreement. By the way, that is expiring, for those of you who don't know, February 26th, 2022, which I believe brings us down to about 53 days left. So, so we hear you, and surveys have shown all the locals, as well as business agents visiting you in the stores, that wages have the most importance in this contract. The last time, it was pretty much all about health and welfare. That was the real sticking point. That was pretty much the reason we ended up in an 11-day job action. And we got through that. And we were required to merge all the funds. The four funds that existed, health funds, came together. It was a long process. It was a 2-year process of getting it set up and getting it set up in time so that there would be no interruption to you and your family as far as health benefits. And a lot of the work is pretty much done going forward, except that, we have, because of that merger and because of our contractual requirement, saved your employer tens of millions of dollars on healthcare. And so that piece of it is taken care of. So now we're left with, well, what's the cost going to be? If for the employer and for you who are contributing, you have to remember also that your employer takes on about 91% of the total cost of the plan. Most of the full-time employees are paying approximately 9%, and in the real world out there, especially non-union world, employees are required to pay far more than 9%. However, the plan is set, and we're looking at, well, what can we do with the plan? How can we tweak a benefit that might be improved or introduce a new one? So that's a whole different side of bargaining, where it's not relative to the cost, because fortunately the merger put together a lot of health reserves, and we're sitting on a big pot of money in reserves. So that's a comfort to us as trustees, but also to your employer, because your employer knows that should things go really sideways, that lump of money, approximately $100 million in reserves, are there. And that should give us the leverage as trustees of the fund to be able to tweak a benefit here or there, and we certainly want to try, of course, to improve a benefit. The employer has the luxury, based on the well-run fund, the reserves, that literally their costs could go down over the life of the contract per month. But what we don't want is to see that the employer says, well, our costs will go down, but we also want you, the member, to pay more into the plan. We're trying to stem that cost for the life of the contract. And if it is a 4-year deal, which all of us would like to see, a 4-year contract, which would only be the second time in my professional career that we would have a 4-year deal. We also want to make sure that the funding is proper, especially going into that last 4th year, so that in the next year of the new contract, if there's a shortfall, we don't have to go at the company for an unusual amount of money. So health and welfare is there. It's on the table. and we're going to be working that out. And the pension, Local 919 is still an independent pension fund. The other locals all belonged to the National Pension Fund. And we have our own bargaining process with your employer. The company will continue or has continued to pay their contractually required contribution rate into the pension fund. Your pension fund is secure. Your pension fund is tremendously funded. Our problem, our dilemma, is that while the company, and hopefully will agree to keep paying and funding the pension fund at a proper level, is the good problem is that we've got money. The bad problem is us as trustees of the local trying to convince your employer that we would like to see if we can modify whether it's both the full and the part-time fund, or just the part-timers, or just the full-timers. We're looking at ways to improve the benefit on pensions. So the fact remains that there is a lot of work to be done, but your company has more than indicated that they have a strong desire to bargain properly, bargain faithfully. And I believe that we can get this done. We can get it done for you, and we can get it done on time, and that would be a great sense of accomplishment. I'm looking forward to it. So we're obviously always here for you. Anytime you need to call, please don't listen to rumors, because you all know that this time of the year brings about a huge creation of rumors, and I heard this, I heard that. One of the final pieces I will tell you is that 919, please don't think that there's any buyouts coming from your employer. The employer has made no indication to us. If they were to present it to us at the bargaining table, we will discuss it, we will consider it, we will look at it. They have no intentions of offering anybody. I've received a lot of calls from members. Is a buyout coming? We know what happened with the meat cutters. We know their reasoning for that and their new business model in the meat departments. That was then. We don't anticipate that. So I hope that clears up any misconceptions. So in the meantime, keep doing the great job that you do for your employer and our communities. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you nothing but peace and happiness and health for the upcoming year, and I will certainly be in touch with you all. May God bless us.